you own yourself a beautiful BR800X blower. Let's check it out today. Maybe you've been running Stihl blowers for years and years and years and years, and you really, what I tell you today is going to be worthless, or maybe you're brand new to the Stihl backpack blower family, and this will be some useful information. I hope that either way, whatever operator you are, I can give you a few tips, a few tricks, some hints that are going to help you get the most out of your machine and get the most life out of this machine. Because it is a long life machine. We see these things lasting 4, 5, 6 years commercially, sometimes even more, sometimes less, and sometimes that's because I dropped it off a trailer. Okay, that really sucks. Or sometimes it's because I didn't take care of it the way it was supposed to be taken care of. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This is a 2-cycle machine, right? Okay, never forget that. We're always putting oil with our gas. I have a 1 gallon mixed bottle of oil going with 1 gallon of ethanol-free fuel. Please, ethanol-free fuel. If you can't run that, at least run a very high octane. We're talking at 89 or 91, something in the mid to premium grade. And that's going to reduce some of that pre-detonation of fuel that over time causes life problems to it. But I say ethanol-free, and I stick by that. We see all kinds of problems with fuel with ethanol, wearing out rubber hoses, wearing out diaphragms and carburetors. In fact, actually eating the carburetors themselves up. But if you're a commercial operator, I understand there's an expense. You're going through your fuel fast enough, but you will see some life differences. So always 2-cycle fuel. Winter, hibernate, check out the Moto Mix, right? This is the way that I want to store this. If I'm a commercial guy, I'm running this 11 months out of the year. But if I'm a homeowner, this might be in hibernation, December, January, February. Maybe not, because guess what? This thing moves snow. So maybe you got to move some snow in the off season. And it just seems like the lawn can always be cleaned up. A blower is an awesome tool for around the property. And before we get too much further into it, don't forget the safety. Blowers are loud. They're loud. And usually you're going to have this thing on your back for 20 minutes or more, and that loud, constant noise over time will cause some damage to your hearing. And then some safety glasses. It blows stuff up, right? Especially when you get in some of those alcove areas and you hit and that stuff peels back up at you and you get dust in your eyes and you can't see. And it's always a good idea to have your owner's manual to refer back to from a maintenance standpoint and some of the safety stuff that goes along with it. All right, let's hop into the blower. Let's hop into this BR800X and see what we need to do to take care of it. We know about the fuel, we know about the safety. First of all, the fuel is going to go here. That's pretty, straightforward. But might as well show it to you. And make sure it's good, fresh, clean fuel. Try to avoid getting dirt in this fuel tank. That can cause some problems over time. Air filter. That's going to be right here on the side. I'm going to have 2 screws that I can take loose. See if I can do this real quick. With the T27 Torx that came with it. Right, so we got this handy dandy little tool with our purchase that's going to allow us to do all kinds of good things to this. And maybe some bad things. Alright, apparently I didn't unscrew that enough. Okay, air filter actually usually comes off of the cover. So when you pull it off and you go, oh, there's no air filter, there actually is, pulls out there. Sometimes it'll stay in place on the back. Let me grab that air filter. We will not cut and reshoot that. We're just going to stick with it. Okay, here's my air filter. It is in there with the pleats in a vertical position. So actually when I shut this off, it kind of self-cleans. Some of the debris that's built up in these fins will fall out, but I still want you to check it. Pull the air filter out, tap it, orange rubber side up. We're trying to knock the material out of here. Tap it on the ground. Can I see good light through it? How does it look? It's starting to look nasty. Let's throw a new one in, right? This is fairly cheap. This thing is sucking in a ton of air in an hour. And guess what? Usually the air that we're blowing is dirty and dusty, and it's sucking that dirty, dusty air up into itself. So air filter maintenance, often overlooked, often causes damage. There is something hiding behind here, and I'm gonna say for 99% of people, you ignore it. There is a winter-summer switch. There's a little white switch here that lets me open or close a baffle, allowing heat from the engine into the intake in the winter months. And when I say winter months, we're talking like Alaska winter months, right? Not you, Florida, okay? We don't really get that cold. Here's what my recommendation would be. If you're running this machine on a cold day and it dies or it's having running problems, and when I say cold, we're talking like 35 degrees or less, and it has some running problems, that might be a thing to do, is to open that up so that heat can get into the intake to prevent the carburetor from icing. That's what they're seeing happening on super cold days. Generally, it's not a point, but I talked about it blowing snow. Maybe that's when we would use that. The problem is if I don't reverse that and close that back up, I will overheat an engine when the season warms up. So that's why I say be very careful with that. Moving past the winter, summer shutter, I'm going to move to the top here, take this cover off. And under this cover is going to be my spark plug right here. Spark plug boots are always a little stiff to take off, especially the first time. So usually I'll wiggle it off. Don't just pull it off because you'll rip the spark plug boot off. This tool works really well if I can kind of get underneath and just pry up lightly as I wiggle it off, and oh, it's off. I replace the spark plug once every year or two. It's not gonna hurt. They're fairly cheap. It's just gonna save you that future problem. But the most important thing underneath here are the valves. That single screw right there takes off the valve cover. And between generally right around 150 hours, this thing needs its initial valve adjustment, okay? And you're gonna know, this thing's gonna pull a little bit harder. Right now, the pull is fairly smooth, but as those valves get out of adjustment, it's gonna become chunkier. It's gonna become harder to pull. You can keep running it. In fact, you can usually keep running it to somewhere in the range of 400 to 500 hours, maybe a little more. And then all of a sudden you're gonna have a catastrophic engine failure, and you go, why did my BR800 die? Why did it crap the bed? Why do I need to buy a new one? It's only 2 years old. You didn't adjust the valves, okay? So a valve adjustment, generally right around 150 hours. And then after that, we're talking like major long-term valve adjustments, more in that 400 to 500 hour range. It'll tell you the story. Refer to your owner's manual, it'll give you the exact hours, but who's keeping track of hours every time they run this? You're not. There is one way. We've talked about this in another video before, but the Stihl connected. This will connect to your phone and keep track of hours. So if you are concerned about hours in maintenance schedule, this $20, $25 Bluetooth device will keep track of hours and help you manage your fleet. Pretty cool tool. We'll get into this some other day a little bit more. So good fuel, air filter, spark plug, valve adjustment. I'm gonna flip it around, just a few small things. Love the adjustable strap on the Stihl, just quick pull down, quick slide up for easy on and off. Love the adjustable throttle handle to fit me. Hiding in the front of that throttle handle, right up in here, is a small little flat-headed screw. Over time, this throttle cable is going to stretch, and you're going to pull that trigger, and it isn't going to want to give it as much juice. You're like, this thing's a little lethargic. What's going on? Did you have a hard weekend or what? No, it might be time to adjust your throttle cable. So you can simply put a screwdriver in there, turn that clockwise, and that'll take out that slack in that throttle cable. And I'm sure you know this by now. Sorry for putting this off at the end of the video. The Stihl returns to run on the switch. But let's look at starting real quick. I'm going to prime it 4 to 5 times. Can't flood it that way. I'm going to choke it. I'm going to pull the rope. It's going to start. And as soon as I squeeze the trigger, the choke comes off. This machine right here has a cruise control. So if I've inadvertently set the cruise control and really kind of locked that throttle in a higher position, the choke won't stay on. So that's a small little tip. I've had people come in and they say, my choke won't stay on, I cannot get it started. And then embarrassingly, I go over here and click that down, and now the choke stays on. So just save yourself a trip, or save yourself kind of feeling like an idiot. You're not an idiot. We all screw up. We get busy, we get in a rush, and we get in a panic, and we mess up. No big deal. Just a small little tip trick there on the side. So there you go. You got yourself a BR800X. Now you know what you need to do to take care of it. Some of the maintenance, hopefully in 5 years or more, 10 years or more if you're a homeowner, you're still running this, you're still cleaning up your property, you're being a good Samaritan and taking care of your neighbor's lawn once in a while, just because it's such an awesome tool to run. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all soon. Hey, this is Josh from Carl's Mower and Saw. Thanks for watching our videos. We're proud of the fact that we've been serving you with the best in outdoor power equipment since 1990. We're glad that you had an opportunity to sit down, watch our videos, learn something about an exciting new product that we have, something that interests you for your property, or really how to use your equipment to the best of its ability. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. We're excited to share more information with you. See you soon.